Alabama running back Justice Haynes has entered the transfer portal on Friday afternoon after what many consider to be a disappointing 2024 season. Now, this isn't overly surprising when you look at the lack of workload. He was one of Alabama's top two running backs this season and actually played roughly about 37% of the snaps. But when you look at the 6.6 carries per game, that number dropping to 6.2 carries per game in Power 4 competition, this isn't overly surprising. Less than 450 yards rushing, 7 rushing touchdowns. That's not terrible. 5.7 yards per carry. But when you actually start diving into the numbers a little bit more, I mean, the guy was averaging just over 4 yards per carry against Power 4 competition, and he was held to under 3.8 yards per carry in 5 of the SEC games that Alabama played this year, and under 3 yards per carry in 3 of the 8 games. And there was a lot of struggling. That struggle really does not fall solely on his shoulders. The offensive line certainly struggled at times. Jalen Milroe struggled at times. I think the offensive identity, as far as the coordinator compared to personnel, that all played a factor in this. But the bottom line is a former 5-star recruit, one of the most promising running backs in college football, or at least, was expected to be one of the most promising running backs in college football after a lackluster season in Tuscaloosa, is going to be moving on. You still got Jam Miller at this time. We don't know if anything's going to change on his front as far as the NFL draft, as far as potential transfer portal. You never know about these things. But as of right now, you're expecting him to be back. You're also expecting Richard Young to be back. He was a guy who a lot of Alabama fans wanted to get more opportunity or more run this season. But when you've got a volume running quarterback such as Jalen Milroe, on top of 2 talented running backs in Jam Miller and Justice Haynes, that you're trying to get all involved in all the touches that they really need and deserve, there was very little room for a guy like Richard Young. But a very promising guy, was also a top 100 recruit in that same recruiting class as Justice Haynes. I would expect him to be involved in the mix. You've also got A.K. Deere, one of the top running backs in the 2024 cycle, that just signed with Alabama. Very explosive, very dynamic, very versatile running back that is a perfect fit for Kalen DeBoer's offense and what he's going to want to do with it. And so, that this just gives him opportunities to get on the field a little bit sooner. You've also got Daniel Hill. You've got Kevin Riley. The running back room is not bare by any means, and there's still a lot of talented guys. But fans are going to question a talent like Justice Haynes walking out the door. I understand that, but I also want people to understand that really just when you watch the product on the field and really the performance, and like I said, this is not just Justice Haynes' fault, but it just didn't work.